ever return to The Bachelorette?
I mean, I think that's like, truthfully, the $1,000,000 question.
Bachelorette updates, Tayshia needing a pause. We have all of the biggest Bachelor Nation news for the week to dive into. So welcome back to our channel, guys. We've got a lot to get into today because Bachelor Nation clearly never sleeps. A new relationship in Bachelor Nation, lots we're gonna dive into. But before we get into it, you guys know the drill. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell so you never miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, joined by Gianna Gravelese and Mariah Davis. Guys, Bachelor Nation is on pause right now, but there's still so much to get into. How are you guys doing today, and are you ready to spill the tea?
Always ready to spill the tea, Zachary Reality. I'm doing great. I mean, it's Friday. We're having such a good day already. And I just feel like something is going to erupt this weekend in Bachelor Nation. I don't know why, I don't know how, but my gut is telling me something's going to happen during the weekend just based off of everything that's already been happening. So like you said, I mean, the show's not happening, but Bachelor Nation is going strong. So we'll see.
I love that. You're having a premonition about some tea that could potentially be spilled over the weekend or something happening. I love that. I'm always ready to spill the tea, but I'm also more ready to just have the tea spilled, which I can always rely on Zachary Reality to do so. So I'm doing great. It's Friday. Oh my gosh, this week has gone by so slow for me. So I'm so happy that it's the weekend.
Yeah, well, Mariah, you're definitely talking to the right person. I've got a lot of fun stories to get into today in Bachelor Nation. So let's start off with Blake Moynes, who still believes Katie Thurston emotionally cheated on him with John Hershey. Now, Blake went on Daily Pop this week to give us an update on how he's doing, his fund to protect the wildlife, and his thoughts on Clayton's season. And when asked at the last second if there was some overlap between his relationship with Katie and Katie's relationship with John,
Emotionally, maybe, not physically. I really don't believe there's anything physical. I really don't.
Blake still believes to this day that there was no physical cheating, but there was emotional cheating. And if you guys don't remember, Katie and Blake got engaged. They immediately went into a long distance engagement. And then all of a sudden, they decided to break up right before, right when Michelle's season started. And then a couple weeks later, Katie did her whole 12 days of messy and revealed that she was actually dating John from her season, who she eliminated on week 2. Gianna, it's been quite some time since Katie and Blake broke up, probably close to 7 or 8 months almost. I think it was September. Are you surprised that he is still, harboring some type of curiosity? He doesn't seem like he knows, what really happened still.
No, I'm not surprised at all. And I'm just putting myself in his shoes because if this happened to me, I'd be the same way. I'd be like, what the heck happened? When did that happen? And even in general in life, when I see people go from one relationship to another with little to no turnaround time, my biggest question is how? Because it takes me like months to really solidify a connection with somebody before committing to them. So I'm just like, how are you committed within a month or a week? Like, I don't even understand it. So with Katie, I mean, I know that she said her piece and she said her and John were always close. They were friends, they were hanging out, and then they realized that they had a spark once Katie was officially broken up with Blake. But it still leaves a little gray area because, like, if she was talking to John while she was with Blake or like hanging out with him while she was with Blake, like, did you really not feel anything? Like, weren't you attracted to him? Like, what did your text say? Like, did you vent to him about Blake and what to do? Like, there is such thing as emotional cheating. A lot of people don't believe in it. So I think that Katie may have, but if only if she was like literally flirting with John via text or in person while she was with Blake. But I mean, Blake's feelings are totally valid. I understand why he's questioning the situation.
Yeah, for sure. Mariah, do you think that Katie and Blake still need to have a conversation? Do you think they still need closure? Or do you think that, they're just getting asked questions and this is getting, spinned a little bit and postponed because, they're in the public eye and they're in Bachelor Nation?
I definitely think it's the latter rather than the former. I mean, at the end of the day, none of us know what conversations they have had. I think they're both people who like to have an open dialogue. So I feel like everything would have already been laid out on the table and grievances would have already been aired out. I completely agree with you. I do think there was some emotional cheating. I have experienced on the other end kind of what Blake has, a relationship coming to an end and then immediately there was another relationship with that man. And I obviously like something is going on before then, before you decide that you're going to like already find yourself in another committed relationship. So I don't blame him for kind of, I mean, listen, they asked about it. I'm gonna be honest, I was never a big fan of Blake. I really wasn't. I was not happy that the two of them ended up together because I thought, okay, there's no way this is gonna last because I don't love him. I'm just gonna say it. Maybe that's a hot take. I didn't like him for her. So I don't blame her for her heart realizing that she, had feelings for somebody else. But I also empathize with him because I've been in that situation. And it doesn't feel good to know that like you weren't measuring up for somebody and they chose somebody else who did it better. That's a sucky feeling regardless. And I don't think he's being petty by mentioning it. He was asked about it. He just
Yeah.
answered the question.
Yeah, that's true. He was asked about it at the last second by, Daily Pop host Justin Sylvester. He made sure to get that question in because that is what everyone was wondering. We didn't care what he thought about Clayton's season. Like, let's be real. Like, no one cares what Blake thinks about that. But we did want to know this, and it didn't seem like he was being too petty either. But it does seem like he's still curious. And I remember he went on the Almost Famous podcast maybe like a month ago and said that he did want to have another like conversation with Katie, but it just wasn't a priority for him. So he kind of postponed it. She actually reached out to him like a couple months ago, like for another conversation, and then he wasn't ready. So I feel like after this, maybe it wouldn't hurt to have a conversation and just kind of clear the air since there still may be some lingering, drama between them or just questions. And I do know that Katie and John are going to be going on Caitlin Bristow's podcast next week off the Vine to talk a little bit more about their love story and how they met and all of that. So maybe we'll get a little bit more insight onto Katie's side next week. Let's continue on to our second story of the day. Tayshia is weighing in on a potential Bachelor return. Now, Tayshia was also on Daily Pop this week as she guest co-hosted. She talked about her time with the franchise and revealed if she had any plans to return. Here is what she said.
That time for me really served me. So it's taken up a lot of me time for the last 4 years that I'm ready to just do the next thing.
Take a break for a minute.
Yeah.
It's not a no, but a pause.
It's a pause.
She also says that she embraces the noise as former Bachelor Bob Guinea was also a special guest as asked by Tayshia how her and Bachelor Nation stars go on these days considering social media is what it is. So a lot to kind of pack here. Gianna, she ain't coming back anytime soon. She is not mad about it that she's not going to be back. Caitlin Bristow said she was a little upset. She won't be back for the Bachelorette. Tayshia, she's not. She's totally doing okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is great that we finally got a solid answer, right? Because there were so many rumors that she left because of her split. And I really just knew right off the bat that that couldn't have been the answer. Tayshia is such a strong, independent woman that she wouldn't just get up and leave because of something that happened. And I predicted a while ago, I said, I think she's just really busy. She's probably really overwhelmed. I mean, I can't even imagine myself being in this franchise. And, she was a host. She had so many things going on for her. She was a podcast host. And I think she was just probably tired. We're all allowed to be tired. We're all allowed to be overwhelmed or take a step back from something. Or, like she said, move on to the next thing. If it's not serving you, it's not serving you. And the fact that Tayshia's owning that and speaking up and encouraging people to do the same, then it's like, that's fine with me. And I really do admire her for that. Now, will I miss her? Of course. I feel like she was such a powerhouse. I feel like we all loved her. Her and Caitlin's duo was amazing. But I mean, Caitlin's not coming back as a host. So it's not like she's hosting the next season of The Bachelorette by herself. We have Jesse Palmer now. So it's like, what else was there for Tayshia to continue doing? I applaud her and wherever her journey takes her next. And I fully support her. So I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, not me neither. It's just, it's a little late. We've been asking for this for a while. I remember when she left the Bachelor Nation podcast, she kind of just like pulled the Irish exit and then she got some backlash and then she kind of gave us a little like fluff of a reason why she left. maybe that's out of her control, but I don't know. She could always take to her own social media. Feels a little late than never, but obviously we are supporting Tayshia. Now, this point that Bob Guinea brought up, Mariah, I want to ask you about. It's like these Bachelor Nation stars get, crucified or praised for everything they do. There's so much social media attention. Do you think it's really worth it going on a reality show, especially like The Bachelor, because everything you do is going to get picked apart?
It's definitely a gamble because you can be like, I would say Tayshia as an example. You could be a Tayshia and like have a great edit, and then everyone falls in love with you and supports you, and they want to see you like continue in all these major endeavors. Or you could get a really bad edit, like let's see, Victoria Larson, like yeah, the queen, or the goddess, whichever
Ooh.
version you liked of her more. You could get a really bad edit, and then people can come for you and like not support you in any other endeavors you do. Will never remove you from like the villain category of The Bachelor. So it's definitely a gamble. The rewards are huge. I mean, you could have a career like Rachel Lindsay. Rachel Lindsay has completely removed herself from the Bachelor franchise, and she is just flourishing. I mean, she's interviewing the biggest names in Hollywood. I mean, the biggest names in literally the world. She has this beautiful career. She's so successful. She's got an incredible book out. And I hope to see the same from Tayshia. I think she should remove herself from the Bachelor franchise. There's only so much that you can do within the franchise. And I feel like she has already marked off all the biggest things you could do. She did well on The Bachelor, and then she, found love on The Bachelorette, and then
Paradise.
she hosted The Bachelorette, and then she went to Paradise, and she's hosted. She's on E! News. Like, I think she's thriving. I think she should definitely remove herself. Like I said, it can be a huge gamble. You don't know if people are gonna like you. It's not always gonna turn out to where you are a Rachel Lindsay or a Tayshia, but it just depends if you're willing to take that risk. Me, no, never in a million years would I put my fate in the hands of producers because I think they're a little slimy, a little shady.
Oh, well, me and Gianna actually submitted your Bachelor application right before you hopped on. You didn't
Oh,
know? Yeah, you
good.
might get
Okay,
a
good.
you might get a call in a couple of weeks. Just FYI. But
Okay,
I like
cool.
that. I think Tayshia does need to, move on, and she is gonna have, a great career in TV hosting or whatever she decides to do. But Mariah, you brought up a good point. A little tell-all book never hurt nobody. We've seen bachelorettes do this
Mm.
before. Mariah, when do you think Tayshia's tell-all is going to come out, and how juicy will that one be?
Maybe she's working on it right now, but I think it would be super juicy because she has so much more of a history having, yeah, she's been on literally every extension of the Bachelor franchise. And now she has like a career outside of it. So I think there's so much tea that could be spilled with The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, and hosting. And I just hope, like, if she does go down that path, I hope she doesn't hold back. Like, let it all out, girl.
Well, yeah, but I agree. If she's gonna do a tell-all, she needs to tell all. I think Hannah Brown did a really good job with her book, letting the cat out of the bag, spilling all of the tea. Rachel Lindsay did a really good job as well, but her book was a little bit different. I think if Tayshia does a tell-all and does a book one day, which she could be working on right now, she has to kind of let it all out. So maybe it'll take a couple more years, because we don't want it to be half-assed. We want it to be the real deal. Gianna, I'm assuming you would read Tayshia's book because I know you don't like to read all of them.
I would probably read Tayshia's book. I just love her. Like, I really do. I don't know what it is about her, but I really, really do. And I feel like her book would be a little bit different because she's stepping out of the franchise, where all the other books we've kind of seen, it's people still in the franchise and they're kind of giving not really a tell all. They still are like hiding things. But if she completely removes herself, there's no contract, nothing, then she can really give us a tell all. So I'd be looking forward to that and I'd totally read it.
Yeah, I would give her like another year or 2 years before it comes out, but we will see and we will be following along. Moving on to our next story, former Bachelorette Jojo Fletcher is finally celebrating her Bachelorette party for her upcoming wedding to Jordan Rogers. Now, Jojo and Jordan got engaged on The Bachelorette literally 5 years ago, 6 years ago almost, and he even re-proposed to her after the show. So now she now she has 2 rings, one from the show and one from Jordan. They also had to postpone their wedding twice due to COVID, and Bachelor fans have been anxiously awaiting their wedding for years, and it's finally happening this spring. Now, Jojo took to Instagram stories to post some fun pictures of her and her girlfriends partying it up in Mexico for their Bachelorette weekend. So it's finally happening. Super, super exciting. Mariah, what do you love about the fact that he re-proposed? Isn't that the coolest thing ever? That like he's not just gonna take a ring from the show, he's gonna get his own ring as well.
I think it was incredibly appropriate given the fact that this was 5 years ago. I mean, listen, ring styles change and personal preferences change. A lot of couples, even after they get married, will update the ring like for their 5 year anniversary or something. It was totally appropriate. It kind of made it their own. Like, I feel like when you get it through the Bachelor franchise, it's like the Bachelor franchise has something to do with us. Like, it is the reason we owe them this. But now it's like they've taken that power back. That's at least that's what it says to me. They take that power back. You know, we're removed from this. This is just you and I. We have put in the work over these last 5 years. Okay, not the Bachelor franchise. So I love that, and I'm so happy that they are finally getting married. But I will say, I know they were going to get married a while ago, but COVID changed all of that. I still love the fact that they didn't have the pressure to immediately get married after they initially became engaged, because so many people want to see that, and that's just not realistic. Like, they took the time to grow together, to develop and become like a real couple goal, and I feel like they are long term. Like, I don't see them ever splitting
yeah.
up, and I love that. I mean, finally, like, listen, any Bachelor Nation fan, like, you need a W. And this right here is a W. This is total victory story. Finding a couple that has made it through like really difficult trials and tribulations. And now here we are, and there's finally going to be a wedding.
Yeah, it's gonna be so exciting. I can't wait to see pictures from the big day. You know, JoJo's always been super trendy. She has great style, so it's gonna be so fun. Gianna, she's also on her bachelorette party right now in Mexico. What do you think makes a perfect bachelorette party?
Oh, well, I'm so glad you asked because I'm in the middle of planning one for one of my best friends right now. So you definitely have to have an eclectic schedule. There needs to be so many different activities. You got to be busy at all times. And you just have to also incorporate little surprises for the bride as well. Obviously, a destination bachelorette weekend is fun. So if you're somewhere tropical like Mexico or wherever. I know my friend, we're doing it right in San Diego, and there's so much to do there. And we are going to go to the beach. We're going to go to the club. I'm going to surprise her with a few things. And there's also this new trend that you can put somebody's Venmo, like buy a drink for the bride and like pass it out in the airport or put stickers everywhere. And I've seen a lot of success. So I think I'm going to end up doing that for my own. I don't know if JoJo did that, but I think that would really benefit everybody as a whole. So as long as there's
I don't think she
fun
needs
and
it.
drinks and partying, then that's perfect to me.
I don't think she needs to do that. I think people will just buy her drinks regardless, and she clearly is doing very, very well. I'm sure it's going to be an extravagant wedding, so we cannot wait to see how that one goes come springtime. Our next story is that Anna Redman has confirmed her relationship with Chris Bukowski. Now, Anna is from Matt James's season, the girl who entertained men for money. She confirmed her relationship with Chris B, making it Instagram official with the caption "hard launch." Now, Anna has been teasing on TikTok that she's been seeing someone for weeks, and her and Chris have been spotted out together several times the past few months, but they are officially making it official. Mariah, what do we think of this couple?
I don't remember a ton about Chris B except like he's kind of old. I use that word lightly and gracefully. I don't mean it to be mean, but just descriptive. Like, that's all I really remember about him, is he's just a little older than everybody, and I don't remember much about his character. But I love and always support when people within the Bachelor alum get together, because I think it's just, listen, they create this huge dating pool that is always being added to every single season. So I think it's so cool when they get together. It's almost as fascinating as like when other actors or other singers get together. It's like, oh my god, like there's something really juicy about that. So I'm shipping it just because they are two people from the Bachelor franchise who didn't find love on their seasons, and I want everyone to find love, regardless if you were a little bit of a meanie on your season. I am not holding any grudges against anybody, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, well, so Chris, he was originally on Emily Maynard's season, like literally 10 years ago. Then they put him on Bachelor Pad, and then he did Bachelor in Paradise 3 times. I think he went for seasons
Yeah.
1, 2, and then he came back for 5. So In the Bachelor franchise, he's definitely older since he's done it so many times. He's probably about 10 years older than Anna, who is 25, and then Chris, I believe, is 35 or 36. Gianna, do we think that makes the best couples when there is that, 10-year age gap?
I wouldn't necessarily say that age makes a couple better versus worse, but I
Yeah.
do think that for women in general, I mean, some tend to go for an older guy just because, like we said yesterday, older doesn't always mean more mature, but in some cases, they really are more mature. And the fact that he's had his time on the show, his experiences with finding and not finding love, I mean, he's experienced to say the least. So I think that that makes for a good, healthy relationship when the people both know what they're doing. And I'm just so happy for Anna because I feel like she was given such a hard time on Matt's season about the whole entertaining men for money thing, and it made her seem like this like horrible person, but like that is a normal career. A lot of people actually do that, and it's just like it is what it is. And the way that she posted it saying hard launch is so funny because that's just like such a trend now. Everyone's like soft launch, and it's like somebody's hand or like their arm. And then she said hard launch, and I'm just like, oh, like I'm just so happy for her and him. And I think honestly, because we've said before, when this stuff happens in Bachelor Nation, when two people from Bachelor Nation get together in such an untraditional way, they're more likely to last longer. So I have high hopes for these two.
Yeah, I do as well because I am friends with Anna and I know they actually have been dating for around like 4 or 5 months. So the fact that she's finally ready to put it on Instagram, she definitely took her time with this and they are the real deal. They've been hanging out a lot, going back and forth from Chicago to Colorado. They've traveled a lot. So I know they met the family too. So they're definitely the real deal. And it kind of came out of nowhere too. It's a little, seems like a random couple, but they work well together. So super, super happy for them. And another story we got to talk about, the Bachelorette, as we kind of close out today's video. There may or may not be an alumni joining Rachel and Gabby's season. Now, Reality Steve has reported a potential spoiler that one guy from a past season of The Bachelorette could be returning to the franchise. I mean, he says it like it's true, that it's going to be Connor the Cat, also known as Connor B, will be joining Rachel and Gabby's journey. Reality Steve is saying that he believes it to be true, and I was originally really excited about this. However, Connor the Cat replied to Reality Steve's Twitter and wrote, "This is news to me, LOL." And then I also looked at the Bachelor Live on Stage schedule, and Connor the Cat is scheduled to be on the Bachelor Live on Stage in about 2 or 3 weeks. So how would he be able to go to filming if he's going to have to get pulled out of there? Would that mean that he's not going, Gianna? Or do we think he's just going to go and then they're just like going to use him to kind of hype up the season and then like make sure he gets sent home? He's got to go to the Live on Stage.
He could pull a Blake and show up halfway through. You never know, and that'll really start a lot of drama. Or maybe Reality Steve is getting confused between actually going on as a contestant or maybe going on as like a guest host of a group date
Ooh.
or something like that. Maybe there was a little game of telephone there. However, Reality Steve got his information and it ended up coming out like that. I would love to see Connor the Cat be on this season just because I think him and Gabby would be so freaking cute together. They are both such goofballs, and I think that they'd get along great. But I don't really know if that's likely at this point. I have seen Connor the Cat's TikToks, and I know that he's like hinted at certain stuff like, oh, well, if they need a bachelor, like I'm still single and I'm still here. But the fact that he's busy with Bachelor Live on Stage, and we know The Bachelorette is already filming or beginning this weekend.
Tomorrow.
It's either not likely or if he's actually going, he's showing up late and it's just gonna throw a wrench in the season. And we don't want that to happen because we love Gabby and Rachel. So we don't want any bad blood between those two. But I love Connor the Cat. If he wants to show up, why not show up? I'd love to see his face.
I just don't think he's going to be there. He has to be on Live on Stage April 12th to April 16th. And it's just like if the Bachelorette starts filming tomorrow, then it's just like it wouldn't make sense, like the timeline. Like there's just no way. So I don't think he's going to be there. I think Reality Steve may have gotten the wrong guy, or maybe he's just showing up to host a group date or something like that. Mariah, is there anyone you would like to see go on another Bachelorette season from the past? I mean, obviously people go on Paradise, but to just do a second shot, or do you think it's just not worth it to, hop around Bachelorette seasons? Because then you get the Blake Moynes edit.
Yeah, I really don't like to see people return. I mean, I know it's a deliberate or strategic producer choice because it creates all this and it's highly, highly teased in the trailers and like the OGs of the season are super ticked off, but like I don't really care for it. At this point, there's going to be enough drama that's circulating within the original group that we don't need to throw any extra. Like, I'll never get over poor sweet Heather and how everyone treated her when she joined in on Matt James' season. So, like, personally, I don't like it because I'm like, let's just see how these relationships play out. Okay. A drama is going to be created. There are other ways to create it if the men aren't creating it themselves, because let's be honest, there's always a little less drama between the men than there is between the women. So I can't think of anybody that would come to mind. Like, I would rather just see
Yeah.
people go to Bachelor in Paradise than see one former join another season.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless it's like somebody who is just like perfect for Gabby or Rachel. I was going to say Blake Hortzman, but I believe he is in a relationship because we know he used to date Gabby in the past. So that would be kind of iconic. But yeah, it's probably not going to happen, but we'll see. You really never know. And The Bachelorette is set to film tomorrow night. Gabby and Rachel have been shooting promo packages all week long. And Mike Fleiss even took to Twitter to share a photo of the two of them in a Jeep, writing, "Looks like they're still not over Clayton," but obviously he was joking. Now, Gabby and Rachel are set to meet the men tomorrow night at the mansion. So it's going to be so exciting. So who are we most excited for them to meet? Because we went over the guys yesterday over here at Shared News. We gave our first impressions. Who are we most excited? Who is our favorites? Who do we think is going to vibe with Gabby and Rachel?
I mean, I really like Justin B. I talked about him yesterday on a Shared News video, and I just said he looks like a guy that would like wake up and bring you coffee in the morning and like read books and be wholesome. That could just be a total lie. Like, I don't know if I'm just telling myself that about him. And I think he's so handsome, so handsome. I would love to see him with Rachel. And then honestly, maybe Gabby can go with the magician guy. Like, honestly, like I feel
Robbie?
like and she's so she's so crazy and he's so crazy that maybe he could just be doing magic tricks and she would get a kick out of it. Or this other guy that his name is escaping my brain right now. I think it's the guy that you like, Zach, one of them.
Jason A?
Not maybe Jason
Corbin?
A. I think it was Jason A. I would put him with Gabby as well, just because he's cute. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to see the limo entrances and the cringy things that these guys do. And July 11th or whatever date can't come fast enough. So
Yeah. Yeah. Mariah, who are you excited to see for Gabby and Rachel?
Mine are pretty close. I do like Robbie for Gabby. Robbie looks like he'd be like the lead singer of an indie rock band, and I really am vibing with it. I think they would be cute. I didn't know that he was a musician or a magician.
Magician.
He looks like a musician, but he's a magician. I think they would be really cute. I just think Gabby looks Rachel too, but out of the two, if I had a favorite, it would be Gabby just because I love her personality. I think she's hilarious. And Gabby, if you ever watch this, hit me up, girl. Let's be BFFs. And then Corbin, I love for Rachel. He's just so handsome to me. He might be like, I don't know. I guess if I was the Bachelorette, if I was going based off of looks, I would say like I was most attracted to Corbin. So I'm loving him for her, even though I don't know anything about him. But I'm just doing a little objectification of these men right now because it's my turn to speak and I can do that. But those are who I like right now, just based off of those. But I will say, literally every single man going on this season is attractive. And not that I'm shaming literally anybody from any other season, but I don't know that I've ever thought that every single man was like super beautiful before. And I feel that way about this group of guys. I think they're all gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a really good looking group of guys. I'm most excited about Jason A. I also really like Mario, and I'm excited to see what happens with the twins because they're going to be polarizing figures, whether they're ready for marriage or not. They're going to make good TV. So I can't wait to see what happens when they come out of the limo. I wonder what their gimmick will be night one. And that is everything we have for you guys today. So before you go, be sure to let us know in the comments your thoughts and opinions, your hot takes on all of the Bachelorette and Bachelor Nation news of the week. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on any future videos. As always, I am your host, Zachary Reality, joined by Gianna Gravelese and Mariah Davis. Our social media handles are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow. Come say hello. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.